Right guys, I'm back again with like the final review of the Mass Effect series. This time it's Mass Effect Andromeda. Now this one is relatively new compared to obviously the trilogy. Obviously this came out like what, like 3 year, like 2.5, 3 years ago now, something like that. But let's just get one thing clear, like straight away. This game shouldn't be called Mass Effect. Really, this game should be just called Andromeda. But obviously, with a few little links like to the Mass Effect. I mean, yeah, it is in the Mass Effect universe. It is, but there's no characters like from like the trilogy in this. There's one or two little like hints and that. There's like archive like voice footage and stuff. There's a few little hints and stuff to the past and that, but that's it. Apart from that, this is a completely standalone game. And then that's from the trilogy. And I think straight away this is where a lot of people got a little bit confused, like with Andromeda. Now, this game was like really hyped. Like it was like I was hyped for this game. Don't get us wrong, purely because of the fact that I was happy to see like another Mass Effect game was coming out. but I think more people were hyped about this than the actual first three games. Because of this, like being like the first Mass Effect game that actually came out on next gen as well, and plus this was like advertised quite a lot on the telly. I think this was like advertised more than the first three games combined. Now, like overall, right, when I played this like game, right, it's good. Don't get us wrong, it is a really good game, but a few problems like along the way. The main, like I said, there's no problems really with story or like characters or anything like that. I mean, I don't mind the fact that obviously, like, yeah, there's no Shepard anymore. You play as either Scott or Sarah Ryder, like two siblings, right? Which I don't mind that. I think they're actually like pretty enjoyable, whichever one you pick. That it's just the biggest problem with this game is, and obviously a lot of people mention it, is like they had a lot of time to work on this game, and the facial animations weren't really. I mean, they did do some updates like eventually and stuff, and it does look a lot better now. But when this game first came out, some of the facial animations were very bad, and the game is very very glitchy. Like, I mean, there's hardly any like glitches in the trilogy. I think Mass Effect 3 and Mass Effect 1 probably had more like glitches like the Mass Effect 2 in my opinion. And I'm not being biased just because I love Mass Effect like 2 more. I'm just saying, like, I do think that, like 1 and 3 had a couple, not loads, just a few, but Andromeda is filled with glitches. It really, really does. But it's not a bad game. But I do kind of get why a lot of people don't like this game because it is a massive step down in quality compared to the trilogy. But I suppose that is going to happen when this game's in a completely different system. I think this game's like 60, 70, 80 years like later after like the events of Mass Effect 3. But yeah, so the overall plot of like this game, right, bear with us. The overall plot of this game is it's basically like loads of arcs, right? That basically like escaped the Milky Way like system and stuff when obviously the Reapers hit, right. A lot of like different, like obviously humans, Asari, Turians, Krogans, and like Solarians, etc. Like all went on arcs to set up a new like life in the Andromeda system, and basically you're a pathfinder, and your job is to establish outposts in loads of like different planets in the Andromeda system. But at the same time, there's these villains like obviously alien race called the Ket, like in the game, obviously led by Archon. By the way, I don't think the Archon is a good villain. It's just the problem with him is there's not enough of him. That's all. If there was more of him, it would have been better. But the thing is, there's not like you can actually go through parts of the game without seeing the Archon for quite a while and stuff. But when he is on, you can tell like he had potential to be a very good like villain in the Mass Effect series. But yeah, the overall like plot is just establishing outposts in the Andromeda system and trying to like bring life, because you unlock vaults as well within like the planets. So it's trying to like bring like life to the Andromeda system where everything links to Meridian. Now, it might sound a bit confusing, and at times, don't get us wrong, it is a bit confusing, but once you actually get playing and that you start to understand it a bit more, but yeah, it's basically just establishing outposts and colonies in the Andromeda system, and also Lincoln Meridian, which will like give life to every single planet in the Andromeda system. So that's basically the whole overall plot of Andromeda. But like again, it's kind of similar to Mass Effect 3 a little bit. The whole thing that they tried a little bit too hard, but the biggest difference with this game compared to the trilogy is Casey Hudson did not direct this one. He actually left BioWare. He actually has come back, by the way. I'll get onto this at the end, right? Because this is something I want to talk about as well. But this game's directed by Mac Walters. Don't know anything about him, but obviously Casey Hudson directed the trilogy, and he's obviously he was the founder of BioWare, Casey Hudson, wasn't he? But like Mac Walters tried. Like he tried. Don't get wrong. Like I said, this game's not awful. It's definitely not awful. It's not even bad. It's not a perfect game. But I think if you look at Andromeda, like as a standalone game, it's very good. But when you compare it to the trilogy, it is a massive letdown. Now because it's nowhere near as dramatic. I wouldn't say the characters are as like good in that. Like some of the characters are like good. I mean, I think PB's probably like one of the best known characters in the Asari who you like recruit along the way. She's probably one of like the more enjoyable like characters in the game. PB's kind of like the Asari version of Jack, like a little bit, like from Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3, and that like similar a little bit, but like I said, no characters are like boring or bad or anything, but it's just like none of the characters like a full on like stand out and as great and iconic as what like a lot of the ones were like in the trilogy. Like obviously like your Shepard, your Garrus, your Morden, your Rex, your Grunt, your like Jacob, Miranda, Caden, Ashley, and then that Tally. Do you know what I mean? Like Thane, like Samara. Even like the DLC characters and that. Well, actually, to be fair, I didn't mention this before, but the DLC characters aren't as great in my opinion. They didn't really like do much improvement and stuff, but the missions were good to get them. And that, obviously, I should have mentioned that before, but that's my bad. But you know what I mean? Like, there's more standout characters. I mean, it's easy to say that when there was a trilogy of like Mass Effect, where Andromeda they're not doing anymore now. Like they were planning on doing. Like I think they were planning on doing an Andromeda trilogy, but after all the negative like ratings and reviews by critics and that, obviously they decided to scrap the idea of another like Andromeda game. I was open to it because the ending of Andromeda is really good, and that because it gets you thinking like it could all kick off again and stuff. But overall, I think the best way to sum up Andromeda is it was a good attempt. It's something different. Some people liked it. It does get a bit too much hate. Like it doesn't deserve all the hate, but some missions are a bit repetitive in a way. It's not as good as the trilogy by any means, but it's not terrible. And that you can enjoy it. You can enjoy it, and that it's not bad. But I think overall, I mean, when I first finished the game, and that I did praise it a bit too much, but when you do look back at it now, like you do know it's not brilliant, and it's definitely not a masterpiece either. The first 3 games all got nominated and won a few BAFTAs. This game, just a few small wins, like nominations, but definitely not BAFTA worthy by any means, because this game did have a lot of problems. But I think overall, I'll give it a 7 out of 10, and to be honest, a 7 out of 10 is good because a lot of people would give this game like 3s and 4s and stuff. It's definitely not that bad. It's really not that bad. It's just, like I said, I respect them for trying something new, but like they had quite a while to work on the game, but overall, and that it does seem a bit rushed as well, and they tried too hard, and that's yeah. But anyway. So yeah, I give it 7 out of 10. Like I think it's good, but it's not brilliant, but it's not crap either. And I can go back and play it. I can go and play Andromeda and still have a good time with it. I can, but it's not as memorable and there's not as many like classic iconic moments as the trilogy, obviously. But obviously, even if Andromeda was a masterpiece, it would still probably fail compared to the trilogy anyway because of only being one standalone game. But yeah. The game should have been called Andromeda, not Mass Effect. Or you should have done like a Star Wars, like anything like Andromeda, a Mass Effect story, something like that. But just before I end the review, I just want to quickly say that obviously you guys do know that there's been like talk of obviously the trilogy is going to get remastered and that, which is obviously like fantastic. I look forward to that. I want to play the trilogy again. I'll probably make some videos out of it and stuff. I mean, like why not? Like, you know, like obviously with better graphics and everything like that. So obviously it's not going to happen like anytime soon, but eventually it will. But there is obviously the working on Mass Effect 4. Now, Andromeda's not Mass Effect 4 because Andromeda's like standalone, like spin-off style, right? But they are actually going to do a Mass Effect 4 because obviously Casey Hudson's actually returned to BioWare to obviously work on Mass Effect 4. So I'm excited because Shepard's returning as well. Now, there's only one thing that it means if Shepard's returning for Mass Effect 4. It's going to be a prequel. I think it's going to be about Shepard's early years in the Alliance. I think it might link to, backstory like you pick from, whether you grew up on the streets and stuff, or whether you're like a colonist or a spacer like from ship to ship and stuff, and maybe like linking to like what Shepard's like reputation and stuff, like where he lost his whole squad and stuff, like might lead up to that, and how he held off like a. Like you might talk about how he's like lost his parents like when the slavers attacked Minwar, or the whole was it the Skillian Blitz, or was it the Skillian Blitz? Yeah, is it Skillian Blitz or that is Mass Effect? I don't know. Or the Blitz? I don't know. This is Skillian. Yeah, this is Skillian Blitz. Yeah, because I'm just like in my head right now was just thinking about like when Anderson was talking like when on the first Mass Effect when he talks about Shepard like in the Blitz and that, but yeah, I think it'll be a prequel about like Shepard's like early days in the Alliance, like maybe him like growing up and stuff, and then leading up to like making a few friends and stuff in the Alliance, and obviously before he became a commander and stuff, and like what he had to go through and stuff, like losing his squad and things like that. And I think that'll be actually quite good as well. Like saying like a different like a Shepard that's not as basically a Shepard that not everyone like knows and stuff, and like a Shepard like who obviously has to work his way up and stuff, and that I actually like that idea, and that's what obviously that's the only way it'll work. And that if they try to go down a route of somehow picking the game up like after Mass Effect 3 and somehow trying to bring Shepard back from the dead again, for me that just won't work straight away, and I think that would kind of put a lot of people off. Obviously I'll still play it, obviously, but I think the only way for it to work is if it is a prequel, and obviously that's the only way that'll make any sense. And I think a prequel would be a good idea because prequel games do work. Red Dead Redemption 2 works perfectly, and that's a prequel, so why not? Maybe I might review that sometime, I don't know. But yeah, guys, that's all 4 Mass Effect games done, so let us know what you think in the comments down below. So like I said, obviously I'm not going to do like multiple ones every day. If I do like some will be like, one like every so often and that, because obviously I am pretty exhausted after doing 4 of those. But yeah, so like I said, I've got some ideas in mind. Like obviously I'm going to do, like I've already said, I'm going to do a Last of Us Part 2 review when I finished it. I'm going to do a Rage 2 review and that, because I've got a lot of things to talk about, like how disappointed I am like with Rage 2 at the time. And also I'm going to do some movies and some TV shows along the way as well. So I'm going to just start doing some reviews on the channel. Why not? Like basically just like certain gameplay of like new games and stuff, like cutscenes or standout moments, and basically going to start reviewing things. Why the hell not? I've actually got Baby Yoda like arriving like soon from that order from like Amazon. Baby Yoda from The Mandalorian, and that I might actually like maybe showcase them and stuff like that. It's just a collection, like maybe like a collectible kind of thing. Might start doing that as well. Like yeah, you call us childish if you want and that, but hey, leave us alone. I'm a 24-year-old man that thinks that like the child, like Baby Yoda, like I'm gonna call him the child because we can't call him Baby Yoda. The child from The Mandalorian is cute. Like, he is really cute in that, but obviously, like I said, I'll showcase him when I actually do get him. It might be sometime next week. I'm not too sure. But obviously that's to come as well. But anyway, guys, like I said, hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys next time. But yeah, for the meantime, stay safe, take care, peace.